Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. You know, Pesach is a yom tov where people prepare weeks in advance, months in advance, preparing obviously with the cleaning of the house and getting rid of the chametz. And then the highlight of the Pesach is sitting at the seder and with your family celebrating Oifen Shel Cheres, etc., etc. And then there is the halachas that you have to do that night. You have to eat the matzah, you have to eat the maror, you have to drink the wine. Many shaalos could come up during the night of Pesach. We all know the night of the seder. We all know that you have to make sure you know the shear. How much is the shear of the matzah? How much is the shear of matzah for maitzi matzah, for kairech? There is a whole lumdus involved. How much is the shear for wine? What happens if we find a similar shaila in Hilchos Shabbos? What happens if somebody makes a kiddush and he's saying Bayer Pri Hagafen and the wine spills? So Baruch Hashem, most of us, we don't have just one bottle of wine. We have extra wine, so there's an answer to this. But in Hilchos Shabbos, it speaks about somebody makes kiddush in one cup, and the cup of wine spills. It makes havdalah in one cup, the cup of wine spills. What happens to the hagafen that you made, etc., etc.? Just interesting shaila. But obviously, there's so many shailas. A person is not feeling well. Could he eat the matzah? Could he eat the maror? All these shailas. Here comes a interesting shaila. We know that based on the pasuk of Yayin v'Sheichar al Teish, the isser of a drunk person is not allowed to go into the Beis Hamikdash, is not allowed to go into the Mishkan, and we know that that's one of the reasons why Nadav and Avihu, the Shnei B'nei Aaron, got punished, is because they were not allowed to walk into the Mishkan drunk. It's a chutzpah. An extension from this, the Gemara says, a shikar, somebody who's drunk, is not allowed to paskin. The Gemara in Zvachim, Daf Yud Ches Amud Aleph, actually says that when Rav would eat or drink Sudas Yontif, he did not paskin anything till next day. Why? Because when you drink on Yontif, you have to zechiv to drink wine, and you might be a little tipsy. You might fall under the category of shikr, and the Gemara paskins and the Shulchan Aruch paskins, a shikr is not allowed to paskin in any halachas. What is the amount of wine that a person has to drink, and then he's categorized as a shikr? So we find in many things in Hilchos Tefillah and Hilchos Dayanis, we find this discussion. When is a person's mind clear enough that he's able to paskin, able to daven, able to do the things that you have to do with a clear mind? And at what point does he become a shikr? So, if it's strong wine, a revius yayin categorizes the person as a shikr. And if the halacha says that a shikr is not allowed to paskin halachas, what happens to a rabbi of a city the night of Pesach? The night of Pesach is not drinking one revius of wine. We have a chiyuv to drink dalit kaisis. So he drank the first one, the second one, and if somebody comes and runs in and asks a shaila, what should he do? Is he allowed to answer the hiskei dinim for somebody? As many shailas, as I said, come up. So actually, it is brought that the Av Bezdin of Yerushalayim, of Shmuel Salant, he actually had this minig, and people didn't realize till after years, they asked him, why is this funny minig? You would think that based on the stories of the Haggadah, that the tzaddikim and the Tanoim were up a whole night discussing the Haggadah, you would think that he would do the same. Rav Shmuel Salant had a very interesting custom, that right after Shul, Ma'ariv, the nights of the Seder, he would run home, he even ran home a little before the end of davening, and he would set the Seder, set the Kaira, make the Haggadah. He finished all the Dalit Kaisis, the whole Seder, and he went to sleep, took a nap. After, he would wake up, and he would sit and learn, obviously as a chiyuv of Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, and chiyuv of all these the important halachas of the day. He would sit and learn Hilchas Pesach, etc., etc. And while most of the people in the community just were starting to say that he already was all done. And his family members couldn't understand what this was all about. So once he responded by saying that the halacha says a shikr al yoira. Shikr is not allowed to paskin. I am a rav of the city, I can never know when a person is going to come in and ask a shaila. So I had to fulfill my chiyuv. I took a nap. So because we know the Chazal say that sleeping takes away this the dizziness of drinking. And by this, if anybody comes and asks a shaila, I'm able to answer. This is Anhaga from Reb Shmuel Salant. It's brought from one of the leading poskim of today, that he obviously you don't find too many people doing like Reb Shmuel Salant did. He says that when it comes to a shaila, even though you drank revius maybe once, maybe twice, it's towards the middle of the seder, towards the end of the seder, and you're drinking more wine. He says it depends. If it's a shaila that you don't really need shikul hadas, for example, he brought an example that happened to him. This is the Karel's Bagadayin, Rabbi Chesko Rat. He says that one time, middle of the seder, somebody comes to him. He says he made kiddush on a becher with a becher full of wine, and he found that the becher had a hole in it. And because the becher had a hole in it, there's a shaila because the kiddush has to be said over proper keli. So Rabbi Chesko Rat paskin that the kiddush was not good because you didn't have a keli. And he said, why was I able to paskin that? Because that was a simple yes or no answer. You didn't need to have real shikul hadas judgment. It's an obvious yes/no answer. So Rabbi Chesko wrote the paskins that if it's a difficult question where you need shikul hadas, you talk it right. A shikr who drank at least 1, 2, because today's days it's a little watered down, then he's not allowed to paskin. But if it's a yes/no answer, he's allowed to say even in the middle of the seder.